Officially live. Lord have mercy. Check, make sure y'all set up. Um,
Mm,
oh, okay. Okay, I'm on
mm,
Facebook. I'm on and I am live on I, I don't know if it's not coming up. Okay, there it goes. All right, let me turn this down. Ooh, we got a couple people in the room right now. Backstage is always interesting. Sometimes I wish I could hear the conversations that we be having. Well, them two gentlemen was just having concerning tonight's topic, which is it's a hard one. Alexa, pause. Alexa, stop. Thank you. Um, it's not going to be one of those fun-filled topics. From the moment I started researching, I was literally triggered. So, with that being said, we're just going to go ahead and jump into it. This is things people don't want to talk about, brought to you by God Level. That would be me. My name is Renee. I'm originally from St. Louis, Missouri, down here in Houston, Texas. I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a mother. I'm a nurse. I'm a sister. I'm an aunt. I'm a cousin. I'm a friend. I am everything good. John, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
John Nicholson here, aka John Skywalker, the Sly Talker, lyricist, spoken word artist, martial artist, personal trainer, lover of life, student of psychology, and father. I have three hip hop albums streaming on all streaming platforms right now: Dimensions, Higher Dimensions, and Light Benders, with engineer, producer, vocalist, and just overall good guy, Andre Black. You can get that on any streaming platform, guys. Um, Also, I am sponsoring a
I'm
30
sorry.
day superfoods detox challenge that will help you, improve your gut health, cleanse your body, and to lose weight. So if you're interested in any of that, hit me up at master.johnskywalker on my Instagram. Also, I am a personal trainer and I am currently taking clients for virtual personal training. We can customize your training plan if you're trying to do something in terms of improving your lifestyle, improving your health complications. That could be, I usually just deal with obesity and building muscle. So if that is of any interest to you, I'm your guy, John Skywalker.
Brother, you want to go ahead and represent yourself?
Peace, peace, peace. King Newborn. You can follow me on all social media platforms at Newborn Everything. I'm gonna keep it simple. I am, and I hope we have a good show tonight. Let's
Yeah,
get it.
I'm putting up the number now, call ins. Um, uh, the information that I found with this was just like, it was a lot. It really was. It was a lot. We're talking about human trafficking. Um, I even want to go as far as how it affects us black folks and how they're
Mm.
saying that men who get caught with us gets lesser time. Um, oof, where do I begin? Let's start off. Human trafficking is the recruitment, transportation, transfer, harboring, or receipt of, hold on, through force, fraud, deception, with the aim of exploiting them for profit.
Hmm.
Men, women, and children of all ages, all backgrounds, all become victims of this crime, which occurs in every region of the world. The traffickers often use violence or fraudulent employment agencies and fake promises of education and job opportunities to trick and coerce victims. That's it. Um, a lot of these women, let's just start with the numbers.
Hmm.
Millions, millions of people every year. That was the alarming fact for me. Millions, men, women, and children. And when you think of millions, I want you to think of a football stadium that holds 80 to 100,000.
mm,
We're talking about 10 football stadiums here of people coming up missing every year that are being forced into human trafficking. That's a lot. I was reading an article that they did down here in Houston, Texas, and they talked about how a particular agency, task force agency, was given $3 million but only closed two cases. That's a lot. And people are still coming up missing. People are still missing. I read somewhere where a father found out that his daughter, the reason why his daughter was missing was because his daughter's boyfriend sold her into sex trafficking. He got paid for that.
yeah.
Well, the father found out and ended up killing the boy. They found him in the trunk a year later, all stabbed to death. I have no comment on that. But let's talk about Black women and girls in sex trafficking in the U.S. According to the FBI, 57.5% of all juvenile prostitution arrests are Black children. Thank you.
Mm,
40% of all traffic victims were identified as Black women. Trafficking Black women would land them less jail time than trafficking white women.
mm,
5% of all men that are buying sex online are white, and they're buying Black women.
mm,
You can go several different ways with this as far as why we are coming up missing. You can Sex trafficking is just one of them. We can touch on the stealing of our organs.
mm,
I remember hearing a story out of California that there's a particular hospital that some folks won't go to. They will literally jump out of the ambulance if they knew they were going there because people walk in and don't walk out.
Mm,
mhm,
that's heavy.
The more you investigate this, and I'm going to have to piggyback off of what my brother said earlier backstage, you're not going to find anybody higher up.
mm,
You're not going to get anyone higher up. Let's get back to the Black girls. Black girls are more likely to experience sexual and physical abuse than other racial counterparts. 36.9% were trafficked by their partners. These are people that they trust, people that they met, people they thought they was with. Physical and sexual violence over women to maintain control.
mm.
Does anybody got anything you want to add to this? Because I'm just like, when I say I was triggered reading all of this, I was just like, wow, where's the protection?
What? Okay, there we go. Now we get into particulars.
Where's the protection?
And when you say protection, what are we referring to?
How are we protecting these children? How are we? And it's men, women, and children. So it really doesn't even matter how old you are. You can be snatched. If you fit the profile of what they are looking for, you can be snatched. And this is just over here in the United States. We're not talking about what happens overseas when you go out of the country on vacation and you look a certain way. And guess what? If you fit the profile, you're not coming back home anymore.
So what you're saying is everybody don't go overboard, huh?
What do you mean? Everybody, oh, yes,
Yes.
yes, yeah, yeah, no, mm-mm.
You'd be surprised who would sell you out for a couple of thousand.
A
Probably
couple of
sleep with
thousand.
them every a couple of thousand.
Hello, good people. Hey, Costello, baby, what's going on? Hope all is well with you.
Peace to the
Um,
queen. How you doing, Miss Costello?
when you think of millions, you thinking of 10 football stadiums. That's about a million people, right? Right there. A million. But we're talking millions every
Mhm.
year.
Big
You mean to
business.
tell
A lot of money
me
involved.
all of these worldwide
Mhm.
families? How do he said I'm great, thanks, bro. How do all
Salute,
these people
salute.
come up missing and not being talked about?
Who said they not being talked about?
Are you hearing about it?
I'm just saying, who said they're not being talked about? You, how many times you went somewhere and you saw a poster or a not a billboard? What you call it? Uh, what's that
They
board
used to have
called?
that board up in Walmart. I don't know if they still
Yeah.
have it of people missing. Yeah,
Right. Right.
Yeah,
yeah.
a lot of
Is
people
that
be on that
is,
board.
is that as far as it goes?
I mean, when
You
you
just
when you call into the police and you say that so and so is missing, what they tell you have, you have to wait for how long?
24, 48 hours or something to that. Either 24 to 48 hours. I'm not exactly sure. I
Mhm.
That's
haven't
even
heard of
before they
them.
could even.
You're right.
That's
They
even
do.
before.
Yeah. Go ahead. Good evening. Hey, Joanna. How you doing, babe?
That's even before they call themselves going to pursue to
You
even
have
take
to be
on the
missing
case.
for a certain amount of time. But they also tell you within 24 to 48 hours, if you don't have anything, you're less likely to find anything.
Mhm.
I mean, it costs manpower, hours.
Yeah. Yes. And
They
mind
already
you,
put. I'm sorry. Go ahead,
yeah.
John.
No,
Go
I
ahead.
was gonna say, and mind you, they still have other crimes that they have to attend to that are actionable, that have
Yeah,
higher priority. I mean, if you don't have any actionable intelligence to act on, right? If you don't have any actionable intelligence,
24 to
what are you
48
gonna
hours.
do? You have one person that's missing, but again, it also depends on the priority. You
exactly.
mentioned that if it was a politician's child that came up missing, they're going to dedicate more manpower to that because there's more money tied to that,
It's a pretty white girl, period.
right? But it's not just the fact that they're white. It's not just a race thing. It's it's the value based off of the social status of the individual. If this is a politician's daughter, that politician holds a social status. It's not
Okay.
just what it could have
I'll
been
take that. That's
yeah,
fair.
it like if Raphael Warnock has a daughter that gets snatched up that just goes missing, we wouldn't have that argument like, oh, it's only because he's Raphael Warnock, he's a congressman, so they're going to dedicate law enforcement efforts to solve this case because of his social status. He
Okay.
holds a
Immediately.
position, right? But it has nothing to do with his race. It's where he sits in the social hierarchy. If it's a
Exactly.
business person, they got resources. Like, all right, hey, you a portion of your taxes pays like a portion of our law enforcement. So yeah, we're going to dedicate a little bit extra work to you. So
Which
these
is that
public
crime.
servants, they have a vested interest in lieu of what's prioritized. Again, they have priorities. You only have so many people that can fill these slots in law enforcement. So what about the homicide that's down the road? Are you going to say, all right, yeah, we know that there's a homicide case going on right here. Doesn't matter what the case is, this person's missing. We'll get to that. Like, what do you prioritize? You're the chief. You're the chief of police. What do you prioritize? Like, if you're the chief of police, I don't have those kind of problems. So I don't know what that's like to say, okay, I'm going to have a dedicated task force towards human trafficking, but I'm only serving, let's say, if I'm only serving a community of 50,000,
Okay.
how many individuals am I going to hire? Because I have a limited budget. How many individuals am I going to hire? And then, like you said, I have to perform. So if I'm not performing at the level with only limited equipment, limited resources, and I don't perform, what do you think is going to happen to that task force? They're going to downsize them.
Oh,
quickly,
absolutely. Quickly,
quick.
quickly, quickly.
So I didn't mean it. I didn't mean to interrupt King
Oh
Newborn
no,
on that.
no,
Oh
no,
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 you're
no.
fine. This is just a conversation. I mean, this is just information that I'm researching. I'm looking up. I'm telling you, I was pissed when I called you, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Mhm.
Excuse my language. I'm trying to tone that down a little bit. But yeah, I was like, all the John Benet Ramsey was a good example.
Mm.
Eh, well,
I, I, that I am at a loss for words because I want to say something, and then again, I don't want to say something.
well, say something.
Um, I'm
And
just
for all those that's listening
whoo,
and watching, feel free to call in because what makes this show
connection.
more interesting is the interaction with the public and your knowledge as well. Whatever it is that you might have ties to people. Yeah, that too. Whatever you might have to add, it also helps somebody that might be in the dark on whatever subject
Mm.
matters we talk about. Go ahead, sis. Spit it.
That happened at her house, at home. Um, I've heard the story over and over and over again about how the police came in and interviewed, and then all of a sudden the mother just started screaming and yelling before they even found the body. Um, the mother ended up dying, if I'm not mistaken. If I'm not mistaken, she ended up dying. That was grief that killed her. The little girl was very pretty. I think they need to be very careful with putting those children out there like that, full makeup on, at 5 to 6 years old, and got them prancing around in front of grown people. It's ridiculous. Stop that shit. That was a side note. But that case in itself, probably it was sad. It was absolutely sad because everyone on the outside was blaming someone that lived inside that house, and we know that you are going to protect the people you love. If it happened inside that house, someone was protected. I'm sorry. I just That's all I want to say. The mother knew. She knew. And if it happened by her son, she protected him. It happens. I've She knew. For her to be yelling like that, she knew. She knew. And his father, yeah, money, she knew. And she protected who did it. You lose one, losing one is enough, but losing two, that's too much. I'm sorry. She knew. Any anybody else want to add?
Oh no, keep building. As you see,
Yeah.
we're definitely getting comments saying if you want to read some of the comments.
Um, yeah, everybody's pocket. He was a billionaire, so yeah. The father was a very powerful man. Money goes a long way. Nobody knows what happened, but yeah, yeah. That mother knew what happened. I'm sorry. The police, that
What are you
lady that
saying?
came in, when she came in and she talked to everyone, the mother went into the kitchen. She said she let out this cry, this yell, this scream. She knew. And then they found the body downstairs on the she that grief took her out of here because she knew. I'm sorry. That's just that's my
Well,
opinion.
we don't know what actually took her out of here. We're not specialists.
Talking about the mom.
Yeah, the mom. I'm talking about the mom.
Since she lost her daughter. That's grief. She had cancer, if I'm not mistaken. She had cancer and died.
So again, we
Yeah.
doing opinionated.
You
We
know what? Hey,
opinionated.
you know what?
Got to be
You
correct
know,
on her.
that case is still, isn't it still talked about to this day? People still trying to figure out what happened. What, man? It was plastered on every magazine. That little girl's face was on every magazine. I remember that, and I was just like, "Oh wow!" So yeah, if y'all got anything y'all want to add, feel free to call. I posted the number. I don't, I don't know it by heart. I keep changing it.
Yeah, I
Forgive
see
me
that.
for that. 832-318-6966. They know what happened. Thank you, Costello. Somebody in agreement. They know what happened. They know what happened.
So, so what do you? No, first let's go back to you was breaking down some numbers about the women and the little
Which
girl.
one? The black women on what?
Yeah, black women. Yeah, no,
I
black
can
women.
go
Yes,
back
ma'am.
to that.
Hmm.
I can definitely go back to that. Um, hold on. 57.5%, according to the FBI, 57.5% of all juvenile prostitution arrests are black children. Um, through a 2-year review of all suspected human trafficking incidents across the country, 40% of the sex trafficking victims were identified as black women. In an interview with the Urban Institute, traffickers admittedly believed trafficking black women would land them less jail time than trafficking white women if caught.
Why you think that? Or anybody?
I
Why you
mean,
think it?
they don't like because they don't think we're anything.
Mm,
They don't. Come on now, they don't think anything of us.
mm,
I'd rather
mm,
I
I
get
would get less jail time if I have a black woman versus if I have a white woman. America does not care about the black one. Thank you. Just put it
mm,
out there. Thank you, Costello.
so. Are we free?
No,
mm,
it's an illusion.
Mm.
That is definitely an illusion. Everything is over here in America is a fucking illusion. Even a voting is an illusion. It's an illusion of choice. Sorry. Oh, I can't apologize for that. I sound kind of horrible, don't it? Mm. Did you want some other numbers? The
Yeah,
social
keep going.
economic status. Social economic status is one of the top contributors in increasing the chance of sex trafficking. Black girls are more likely to experience poverty than their racial counterparts. Traffickers tend to target individuals with black women of low social economic status.
mhm,
Wow. Due to unemployment, debt, and the need to provide for themselves and their children, many victims are less likely to leave the situation to make ends meet. I've watched a video of a mother, she was of Hispanic though, of a mother being taken to jail. She was in the process of selling her own children for sex. Soon as she agreed on
So
the price, they came in and locked her up, and now those children are in the system. Hold on.
that was a single parent.
Yeah, hold on. Child welfare involvement, specifically out of home foster care placement, is one of the top contributors in increasing the chance of sex trafficking. Black children are overrepresented in the foster care system. Although they
yeah,
make up 14% of the children in the US, Black children make up 23% of the foster care system.
mhm,
A reported a report conducted in 2016 found that 86% of the likely sex trafficking victims were in the care of social services when they went missing.
Mm.
That's heavy.
Triggered. I was
Negligence.
Hmm.
Mm.
more than 23,000 children will age out of the U.S. foster care system every year. After reaching the age of 18, 20% of the children who are in foster care will become instantly homeless.
Mm.
Not selling the bad ass kids. Costello.
Mm.
A random request. Can you all do a video on what is black? Because a lot of by race people are being classified as black. I don't see a problem with that. The system has never worked because the system was never put in place for us.
Mm.
It was never created for us. Not in our best
So
interest anyway.
I like that request you asked about what is
Yeah,
black,
April
but then
10th.
I also love that the system has never worked.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Go ahead.
when you say the system has never worked, are you saying worked for us or against us? Because technically, the system is working quite well.
Explain, expand, go on.
Expand.
Mm.
So if you write the number 69 down, from your perspective, the 69 could be a 96. So it
Mm-hmm.
depends on how you look at it. So if you design a system to work and to perpetuate itself on its own, and it's still going as of today, that system is working great at a high
Mm.
capacity.
Mm,
You know what
mm.
I'm saying? So you can't say the system never worked.
It's working, just not for us.
Right.
Working exactly.
It's working, but
Mm.
not for us. Ah,
Mm.
The downside of that is that we have our own. Like I said,
wow.
we have our own people working with the system,
Mm-hmm.
and that's on multiple levels.
Mm.
California is ranked as having the highest number of reported cases of human trafficking in America. The largest county in California, Los Angeles County, reported 92% of all girls in the juvenile justice system identified as victims of sex trafficking are Black. Of those, 62% were from the child welfare system.
Mm.
And
Foster
once
children are
again,
10 times more likely to be sexually abused. I did hear that. It was a guy who adopted a child only to abuse it, literally. I'm trying. That's enough.
I mean, that's a system, ain't it?
Yeah.
Like you said, he went through the system to get him a child.
He went through the system to get him a child, came out as a stellar parent, and was giving a child. He was given a child that
A
he
whole
took home and abused.
a
King,
whole
say no
human
more on
life.
the topic, please. King, say more on the topic, please. Oh, Lord. Such a high number. The sad thing is, I went through the foster care program. I wanted to foster a child after hearing the stories from my teachers. I decided not to. Um, I did not want to be a victim of the system. Costello, honey, where is the number at?
832-318-6966.
Because these children do get abused and they will accuse you ooh, of things. Ooh.
Mm.
832-318-6966 if you want to call in, love. Oof. Missing and murdered Black women and girls are disproportionately affected in missing and murder statistic. Black girls are more likely to run away from foster care than their racial counterparts. Black girls who are runaway are more likely to be targeted by sex traffickers. In 2014, the homicide rate for Black women was 4.41 per 100,000. And the stories about Black women being killed left and right are just, they're increasing. They are definitely increasing. Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Did you happen to come across an age group?
School age. School age.
So as young as what?
I didn't, that, I just seen school age, but I don't see it. I don't have, you know what? No. I just
Mm.
have school age. That's it. Young girls.
And this mainly happen in poverty-stricken areas.
Oh, absolutely.
Hmm?
Because these children do get abused. Okay, I read that already. What do you do?
Now we getting somewhere. What do you do?
What do you do?
Now you finna talk about family structure.
Mm, let's go.
I'm just saying, you talking about family
Nope,
structure. The
you're
state,
right.
the
Let's
statement,
go.
the statement, the statement that Miss Costello mentioned earlier. The system has never worked. So let's just say, once again, when you got systematic systems put in place for certain things to keep going on, to perpetuate themselves. So if you just start off just a general black family, right, in a
Okay.
poverty-stricken area.
Right.
Now, you just stated yourself about protection, right? So if you just
Right.
start off just a general black family. So with saying protection, what do you consider to be a protection within the black family?
Safety.
Safety, but who secures that safety?
Oh, the black man is supposed to secure that safety.
Well, he's not allowed to be there because you're on Section 8. He's not allowed to be there because you're on housing.
Wow.
So it's engineered correctly.
Mm. It leaves the woman alone to raise the children and put her in a position to protect the children, which she cannot do on her own.
I'm,
Refuse to admit to it. Hold on.
wait a minute now. Be careful
You're
now.
gonna be
Say
wrong.
it softly when you say that.
Yeah, oh, oh no, I'm a woman. Yeah, and refuse to admit
Yeah.
to it, and
Hey, I'm
refuse
just saying.
and
It's a lot of women out here
refuse
that say, as an
and
independent
refuse
woman,
to admit to it. You know, don't get me wrong. I have a gun. I have a gun,
hey, I
but
know a
it
lot
would
of
be
people that got
nice
guns that got
to
affected from it.
have that male figure. It would be. Until then, I have to be careful where I live. You
Just
know,
saying. Once you remove that black man out of that family structure, it's total chaos after that. And we can play a numbers game all day. We can start with your zip code, your area code.
Yep.
Do a whole. We could build a whole profile on you real quick, and I can tell you where your son finna go, your man finna go. Do the proximity. I could break. We could break it all the way down. Man,
Andre
you
commented. He said he's worked with those kids in juvenile corrections. He's worked in a sex offender camp for youth. He said you can only imagine the horrible stories from these young men.
I would love to hear from him. I would love to
send
hear
me a
a
call.
story. I would love to hear a
Show me
story.
that number. Show 314.
Uh-uh. No, it's 832 now. I'm
Oh,
sorry.
oh my God. 832.
Yeah,
832.
832
Eight three two.
318.
There you go.
Yeah, 318-6966. Please ask him to call in. And the people of the story will remain nameless, but just think about it, man. Matter of fact, I had a movie about this where they were trying to keep the couple from falling in love with each other, and they kept continuing to try to reroute, but no matter what they did, they always met back. They kept on coming back, kept on coming back. But my point, I'm getting at, this system was designed by people that took time out to think, strategize, not just for this year, not for last year, but for the next 100 years. That's what you got to understand. They understand when they sat down, they talk about these things. They understood I will never see this unfold. I will never see it reach its highest potential. I will never see it. But since I'm in the cornerstone of it right now, I know where it's going to end up. I know where it's going to end up. And here it is. We still battling it right now today. And we try to understand, well, why is this and why is that? Just like John said, backstage, you look at it, you got all these jobs available, regularly available, but due to education, due to the home front, the environment in which this mind is being molded, they're not thinking about working. They're probably thinking about trying to survive. You understand what I'm saying?
We have a caller on. Who am I speaking with?
It's Trey, man.
Hey Dre, how you doing?
Hold up.
How y'all doing?
We
Man.
doing
Peace,
all
bro.
right. This a Drake. This Dre. I'm sorry, I said Drake. Lord have mercy. Dre, this is a heavy topic.
Yeah, man. I
Heavy.
know. Believe me, I know. Like I was saying, like I as blessed, I don't work with those same kids. Like, and the stories, first off, that our problem is, as most African American people, we're told to keep those stories secret. So we bottle those stories up and we don't tell nobody. But these kids are willing to talk to you and tell you some of the things they've been through and the teachings that they were taught, and then they reenacted them on someone else.
Mm.
So it's like it starts in the home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It does. Yes,
Dysfunctional
it does.
family.
I've had kids, like even young men, that their moms was selling them off, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, at young men to other men, you know. So yeah, it's horrible, man. It's
Mm.
horrible, and it's hard. Like in that capacity, when me working with them, I can't judge them, by what they did. So I want to
Yeah.
know where it started from. So I actually
Mm-hmm.
sit down and listen to them and find out where it began, and it opened my eyes up to like, man, I can't judge, even though I know you did it to your sister, which is horrible. But man, your daddy did it to you, your uncle did it to you, it
Yeah.
happened to your daddy, and that cycle, just
Continues.
nobody broke the cycle.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, man. So
That's sad.
it's a mean topic right here, man.
It
It's a
is.
mean one, man.
So
Yeah.
those people who sexually abuse another person or a child, they're doing so because they have been sexually abused
Mm.
themselves.
Nine times out of 10, it happens to them.
It happened to
Mm-hmm.
them.
Just by me working in that capacity. I'm not going to say I'm 100% right, but I'm like 75 to 80% right to know that it happened
Mm.
to them.
Wow.
Yeah, man. what the big homie was saying with how they snatched the man out of the picture. That's like part of the process, man. That's part of the process where that although we start talking about like the Section 8 where they snatched the man out of that was the first part of this to kill the head, man. Kill the head, they kill the head, and then they can feed whatever they want to into that.
Yeah, that's crucial.
No positive
You know,
male role models. Yeah.
none. You ain't got no support. You ain't got nothing to protect you, and it don't always mean just because you have a man in a picture, everything is just financial, 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 which is
Mm-hmm.
the thing that we're pushing right now. You still got to
Or
understand that
that everything is all right, because I had a male figure in the household, and you can't just have any male figure in the household.
Yeah.
You really can't. The man I had in the household, huh, I wouldn't wish him on my worst enemy.
right, but we're not going personal right now. We're just talking
No,
about
we're not going personal, but I'm just saying not every. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
right, right.
Okay.
No, no, I
Okay.
understand what you're
No,
saying.
you're right.
Not
Thank you.
every not every man is built for this, but
Mm-hmm.
if you were to break the cycle and show a man, like my brother John
Mm,
said multiple times, certain things are a talent, other things are a skill set.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
could be taught a particular skill set, i.e., how to be a father, how to protect the home, how to financially raise a household. You could be taught that. But if the
Mm-hmm.
example has been removed, you have no foundation.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if you
Vulnerable.
want to leave it up, hey, all day long, and
Yeah.
that's man, it's deep. But like I
yes.
said, the
It's very
machine is
deep.
working. The machine
We're
is
being
working at its
attacked
highest.
from all sides. We're being attacked. It's just not one side. We're being attacked from all sizes, from all
Yeah,
sides.
but based off what you're saying, Renee, this is where it's
Mhm.
hard to reach. It's hard to reach our women and sit down and talk to them and say. And I'm glad that we have this platform currently right now, and I hope we do
Mhm.
touch some women. But until we sit down and talk about this, like you just said, prime example, and I'm not trying to use you as an example, but
Go right
understanding
ahead.
that
Go right ahead.
but understanding that just because a woman picks a man does not mean that he is the right man for the job to bear children with. You
Mm-hmm.
understand what I'm saying? But that also goes to what are you picking when it comes time for you to pick a man to lay down with? Are you laying down with the intention to build a complete future? Bless you, John. To build a complete future with the understanding that he's going to be here,
Mm-hmm.
or are you laying down just to have a good time? Because if you're laying down to have a good time, how about we be adults and make sure we take care of the necessary precautions?
They're
You
not
know what I'm
going.
saying?
When you lay down when even with a man when you lay down with a person just for the satisfaction if you don't have that discussion you pretty much accepting everything that comes with that person at that time. If y'all don't have that
Facts.
discussion, you say, hey, look, you know,
Facts.
blah 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 whatever, you're accepting everything that comes with that woman, and it happens, man. Some people get caught up in the moment, and some people can have that strength inside to say, you know what, hey, hold up, where are we going with this? What are we doing?
Yeah.
If this the reason why we're doing this, then hey, they cut off all the feelings. But once those feelings get involved, it's a battle then, man.
Facts.
Personal responsibility.
Mm,
Personal
Yeah.
responsibility.
Mm,
But
yeah.
just kind of bring it back around. Everything that we just
yeah.
highlighted really illustrates how just within the black family, and this is just the black family. I mean,
Right.
this issue spans across all races, all demographics, but
True.
it is a socio-economic issue too. So what we're saying is the most vulnerable populations are migrants, They're asylum seekers, they're refugees, they're unemployed, they're minorities,
Mm-hmm.
they're
Mm-hmm.
impoverished. And so
Right.
Mm.
they're the most vulnerable. They're likely the least educated.
Mm.
And
Lack of
of course,
resources.
right? And there's a clandestine type of nature to this whole thing. That's why it's even just in researching it, it was very difficult for me because it's such a big problem, and yet it's
Yeah.
also very intangible. It's in plain sight, but it's also very intangible. And I also understand like there's pressure on politicians and law enforcement agencies to for first off, in terms of like the reporting, right? We come up with these numbers and it's like, all right, you got the statistics, you can describe the problem, but as far as the solutions, it's very difficult because you got to have there's like a deficiency in the information sharing, right? Like even just with the whole thing of what is that called? It's transplant tourism. I think that's what it's called, where you can go to another country and you can buy organs and get them implanted, right? And I know it's very prominent in North and West Africa. I know it's also prominent in parts of South America, Central America, and typically it's like these clinics and these hospitals. And mind you, this is like we're talking about medical specialists, we're talking about surgeons and nurses. They're all tied into this. And the black market has their hands in that. And so we're talking about again laboratories, clinics, operating rooms. All
Where?
of this is like,
I'm
hmm?
sorry. Go ahead. 'Cause that
so
just.
so so all of these networks are connected, right? And that's why I say it's in plain sight. They're getting paid under the table to harvest organs and sell them to the black market, knowing that they're going to get a cut of the profit. This isn't just physicians. This isn't just surgeons. This nurses are in it, are in this too, right? Um, and so here we are. We're applying pressure, but you can't do anything without actionable intelligence. So it's like, what's happening to the information? You got to have eyes everywhere in order to see this happening. But also, you don't have enough eyes for the one particular area that it's really affecting the most. You're the,
Mm.
the impoverished community, right?
Mm-hmm.
So again, we're not talking just about black people. California,
Right.
it's more populated with Latinos than it is black people. So even though there might be a proportionate percentage of black people getting abducted and they're being trafficked, we also have to consider that there are immigrants that's experiencing the same thing. Like he was kind of pointing at that when we were in backstage. What was the example you said that someone came up to you and was like, "Hey, can you take them to Taco
Yeah, yeah,
Bell?"
yeah, 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 yeah,
Yeah.
And
yeah.
how much were they willing to pay you?
Mr. Dre, I want to thank you for
2,500.
calling in.
Yeah. I'm with you. I want to get back to the video.
All right. Thank you so much, sir.
Mm.
All right.
All right. I'm sorry. Shanice, you were calling. You can go ahead and call back, hun. I'm sorry. We
Ah,
had another phone call come through while he was on the phone, and I forgot he was on the phone because I got caught up listening to what you were saying. 'Cause, man, this is a heavy topic.
yeah.
Heavy. I was literally triggered, but go ahead.
So what I was going to allude to with that example is, it's also a question of wages, right?
Shout out to the caller.
It makes me wonder, and again, this is just speculation right here. If you can pay somebody 3 grand,
Mm,
something that they don't even make unless it's like maybe at the end of the month, 3 grand to just give a little helping hand to facilitate the transport of this one human body to this point. Hey, it's only going to take you 25 minutes. 25 minutes, you can make 3 grand.
mm,
You're
Or
living
go
in
to
an
jail.
impoverished, huh?
Or go to jail.
With that risk. There's a risk on it, right? Because again, you don't
yeah,
know the person who's making the
you
proposal to you. You
don't.
don't even know if they're an undercover agent. So it's a test,
Facts.
Right.
right? It's a test.
Facts.
So the risk is there. The risk is there of getting caught in that moment because that's an undercover agent, but also just in the process. The risk is on the person who's making the transport, right? So
Mm,
you got to think about what would motivate an impoverished human being to take 3 grand to transport another human being, and you don't know anything. You just it's like a lottery ticket to you.
right. Three
Hey,
thousand
I
dollars.
just
I'm just going
all you got to
25
do is do
minutes up the
this.
road, and I just got to take you to this Taco Bell, and you're
No
gonna give me
questions
three
asked.
thousand
Don't
dollars.
ask any questions. Yep, and don't ask
Yeah,
any
and
questions.
don't ask no questions.
I
Somebody,
apologize. I'm not trying to laugh, but Costello, she funny. She funny. Yeah, no
jail.
questions asked. But look,
No,
let's go even further though. Depending on, like John said, depending on the person that is asking you to do this particular job for them for a set amount, you still gotta look at the fact that you can be killed behind this.
Mm, mm.
He said, "No, can't you why?" See, funny. You
that's
could be
my
killed behind this.
yeah. We'll talk about it later.
Yeah, but like you say, John, because you come from poverty and you don't know what 3,000 looks like. You ain't never touched
Right.
that at one time. After taxes, you taking home maybe 18, 17. Then after you pay all your bills, you probably got like $25. And somebody just walk up out the blue, like,
And offer
excuse
you
me.
3 grand. You just
You
going
know what I'm
up the
saying?
road 25 minutes. Yeah. You
And like,
even if you say no, you thought about it.
yeah, but think about that lawyer fee. It's gonna be more than 3 grand.
Mm.
Even if you
Just to
say
keep
no,
you
you
out of
thought
jail.
about it. Like, you know what? I don't know. I might, something may happen
Yeah,
between here and there. Mm-mm.
facts.
Yeah. So I'm just also I want to also kind of tease out what does that look like for the daily or for the average person. Because again, this seems like it's a widespread phenomenon, but it's very much invisible to most Americans. We know it exists. We've heard the term, and we could go and say, news media outlets are very silent about it, but that's not true. That's not true. We hear
They
about
talk
it through the
about it.
news.
They
They
talk
do
about
talk
it.
about it. Yeah, there's
They
TED
talk about it.
Talks.
But the system is so
I want to say this. Is what I want to say, and John, you're 100% correct. But I want to add to what John is saying. It's more visible than we think.
Hmm.
It's more visible than what we think because if it starts in the home front, early stages, oh no, that's Uncle so and so and so. Ain't no, that's you downplay it real quick. It's no big deal. Or you got chatter within the family, and you already know misconduct is going on, but nobody is there, i.e., like grandpa, the head of the house.
Mm.
Nobody's there to enforce any actions. You don't have no structure, no infrastructure. There's no authoritative figure at all.
and and
Think
then
about it.
we talked about this in our early live. What goes on in this house stays in this house.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
That's another reason why it continues.
Yeah, but
And
during that time when that quote unquote cliche was out, you had a man in a household. So therefore, how he ran his house was how he ran his house. Just saying, you ain't got nobody there no more. So who running the house?
so what happened to the black family?
We said it earlier.
Crack,
That's one
um,
of them.
Jim
Yeah,
Crow,
that's one of them. Yeah.
um,
Yeah,
the what was that movement?
the
Feminist
feminist
movement.
movement. And I hate to say it, our women took on a fight that had nothing to do with them.
All right, and black women are taking accountability for that, but also, there is an antagonism against feminism also. Like there is a subsection of feminism called womanism, and there are black women that are aggregating towards that position, that ideology, and they're challenging feminist theory. So it's not like the whole thing is bad. It's just certain sections of it. It really
Certain
depends on
parts
the
of it.
users.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
certain
Right.
parts, like in terms of the theory in itself, certain parts are they can be adopted, they can be considered, but overall, yeah, like black women are taking accountability for that. Um, but there has been this consistent effort, systemically speaking, um, to disrupt the black family, and there have been considerable strides in trying to repair that. Right. So, and this is one of the very things that I was in discussion about with the woman I was telling you about. There's too much emphasis on personal accountability, personal responsibility, but there's no social accountability, or there's
Take that.
correction, there's little social accountability for the atrocities that's been committed to our community. But what ends up happening is the white power structure tends to say, well, the Hispanics and the Asian community were subjugated to the same degree that you have, and they made it. And so they use them as model minorities in comparison to say, oh, well, if they can rise above the oppression, you can do it too. What's your excuse? And that always gets perpetuated. That becomes part of the narrative. It becomes deeply ingrained. And then you got, ideals like social Darwinism that justifies the oppression and the extreme um, competitive nature of the patriarchal system. And it doesn't do any good for black men because, again, here we are. We're in this system. They're at the top. They can control, a good gist of the narrative, and they don't have to listen to our outcries. They don't have to listen to our narrative, right? I don't want to, deviate too much from the topic, but
Mm-hmm.
when we're looking in the grand scheme of things in terms of vulnerable populations and them being exposed to human sex trafficking, because this is still modern day slavery, right? And it takes on, I think,
Yeah.
what is it? Three. It takes on
Yeah.
three forms. We talk
Yeah.
about the prison industrial complex, like that's modern day slavery. But really, this is the modern day slavery because there's still forced labor where a child can be given up for adoption. I don't know, from Nepal or India, and because the family can't care for them, they're in poverty. Family can't care for them. Someone comes in, it might be a sweatshop owner, and says, hey, uh, let me take them on. They can work for me. They can, sew these Nikes together and shit. And we'll pay them this much and we'll pay you a percentage of that. And the child doesn't receive any, adequate nutrition and doesn't go to school. That's forced labor, sex trafficking. Um, you're born in poverty in America. You're a black girl, undereducated. Your father wasn't around. Your mother was on drugs.
You was
Black
already
man comes
sexually
around.
abused.
Black man sees, oh, able body out here. What you doing with your life?
Mm.
What's your
Mm.
goals? What's your dreams? What's your aspirations? Oh, you ain't
Mm.
doing shit? Come work for me. I'll take care of you.
Mm.
And you're
Something
stuck,
as simple as saying, "You hungry?"
right? Debt bondage. It could be someone from, I don't know, from Russia. Um, their family amassed all this credit and debt. They're desperate to pay it off. um, Someone who's an employment agent. We got employment agencies here, right? They're like, oh,
Mm-hmm.
you're in debt? Well, hey, give us your daughter, and we'll send her to the United States with a visa and a passport, and they can work off the debt for you. Girl comes to the United States in San Francisco or in New York, and um, she has to be a housekeeper, and she doesn't have her visa, she doesn't have her passport, but she's working as a housekeeper for a wealthy family. It's in plain sight. Child sex trafficking. 15-year-old boy runs away from home, from out of the country, or in San Francisco or in Oakland, and he lives on the street. Pimp says, hey, what you doing? Same thing. Hey, you ate today? Hey, come on, little
Mm.
man, I got you. I
Right.
got you. just like a dog off the street, right? Next thing you
Yeah.
know, loyalty, attachment.
Thanks. Yeah.
Hey man, so what are you gonna do? What's your plan? Oh, you ain't got. Well, you know what, man? I know what it's like out here. I got you. I'll take care of you.
Mm,
I just need you to
yeah,
do me these favors right here.
there it
You
is.
okay with that? You good with that? You know, so
And in some
it's
cases, I'm sorry. In some cases, I mean to cut you off, John. In some cases,
ooh
that also uh, ties to gang life.
ooh. Yeah, that's a big one. That's a
Yeah,
big
You
one.
know, you got some women it's an scapegoat, but what they have to go through just to be protected,
yeah,
Mm.
it's sad, man.
Yeah, so it can be they can be in hair and nail salons. Like you never know, you might be getting your hair and your nails done at a salon, and that Korean woman that's doing your hair or your nails, she could be trafficked. The woman that's at the strip club could be trafficked. Uh, it could be the janitor at the hotel, trafficked.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
could be the migrants that's in the field working for this farmer,
trap.
trafficked,
yeah.
Yeah,
right? Someone
yeah,
who's in construction. Hey, we need. I need 3 people. I need 3 people to help me with this construction project, and they're on the side of the road. All right, cool. I'll take you three. Trafficked.
Real
Mail order brides, trafficked. You're from Romania. You're from France. Hey, yeah, we'll give you a better life. You know, you just got to be this man's wife. He'll give you a better life. All the while he's abusing you. Trafficked.
right. I've heard about those mail order brides where a lady he ended up killing his wife. He ended up killing her. She thought she had made it. White man. She would videotape the house that she was living in, showing how she had the good life, the rings and all of that, and the mink coats, the shoes, the purses. Um, and he ended up killing her when she wanted to leave. And then he got him another one. Uh, it's sad.
Yeah,
Is that the
and
reason
even
they work so hard? Who are you referring to? Some of the Mexicans? That sounded kind of racist.
but you know when we first talked about well not first talked about this, but what was that, Friday? I think that was Friday we talked about this briefly. I was thinking
Yeah,
about what are our attitudes publicly. What are our attitudes about this, right? And that was my whole thing. That was the guts of this. It's not about the reality of it, but our awareness of it and how we treat it. And it's one of those situations where you feel helpless because you can't really put your finger on it. And to say that it's in plain sight, but you can't really tell. You don't know how to look for it.
right.
We're
You
not
don't.
conditioned,
You
which
don't.
leads me
You
which
don't.
led me to, after we talked, it led me thinking, like, is this something that we should be teaching in schools?
Ooh,
And then also, do we feel more apathetic? And I'm very very specific about that word. That's a very precise word I want to use here, because it's almost like we don't care. We want to care, but we can't care because we don't feel like we could do anything about this on a national level, that we can't pull any efforts together. But also, would you feel more compassion for people in poverty that you don't really know exists? And that's why I say, with poverty, people
damn.
that are in poverty, we are the working class, right? We're talking about working class citizens that seem invisible to the power structure, and the elite and middle class looking down and saying, all right, cool, they must be living a good life. They must be okay, even though you have statistics that might say something else. And yet, when you have something this pervasive as human sex trafficking, and that it mainly affects the working class, it mainly affects the poverty class, even below poverty level.
Yeah.
If it affects us the most, then there's not enough eyes on here. Do we as a country care about that vulnerability? Is that, if you put a number on it, 29 million,
No.
right? 29 million, and yet you don't see the faces of those as much as you used to. Because it used to be around, right? We used to see it a
Hmm.
lot.
Who's profiting?
It begs the question of, as a country, do we really care about poverty in this nation as it relates to this problem? Because if you didn't really have poverty, you wouldn't have this vulnerability here. And so we just chalk it up to, that's just how the system is designed. And as long as we keep perpetuating that that's just how the system is designed, it won't change. There's no incentive to
Nothing will
change. We're just
change.
accepting it.
Right.
And that lady and gentleman, king, queen, that is apathy. So that was my, out of this whole thing, that was the only thing that really touched me, is that I felt apathetic. So I understand why other people would feel apathetic about this. So what is our motivation to care if it doesn't really affect us?
Hmm, that's deep. It's one of them things you'd be like, dang. So do I hold myself accountable? Do I become a part of the benchmark?
Hmm.
Do I involve myself in it to the point I become a solution? Do I start adopting children?
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Like all the
Yeah.
times we point fingers, but how many times we trying to not only come up with a solution but be the solution?
Hmm.
Because when you be the solution, you understand that it's bigger than you, and you're willing to put your life on the line for it because that's how much you quote unquote believe in it.
Right.
I don't know, but yeah, I feel you now, John. I really do feel you.
Yeah, it's just the
Mm-mm.
values on a global scale. What are the values? And it, I mean, we can always kind of cross over into that whole conspiracy theory that, perhaps it's deeply embedded into the power structure.
It is.
That it's a problem that is actually part of the machine, and it's just
It is.
underneath the conscious level. You know,
It is. Who's profiting off of all of this? Who's profiting off of us? I mean, this is like my brother said, this is a billion-dollar industry. Billions. We go missing and ain't nobody worried about us. A black boy can be rolled up, organs gone, get a little news. Billions of dollars. That system is well protected.
yeah, and it's demonic level, right? Sacrifice.
Oh
I'm just
yeah.
imagining.
Uh,
I'm just imagining. I'm just
whew.
imagining
I'm gonna sip.
this message, that comes from again. That's why I'm saying, this is part of the system, right? A message of sacrifices must be made.
Mm.
Sacrifices must be made
Oh
for
yeah,
human progress.
newspaper in his dead body. Yeah, they took everything. They took all of his organs and then stuffed him with newspaper. Yeah.
The worst part is being able to put your life on the line, but knowing you have no support behind you waiting for you. Yeah, you're not willing to fight for yourself. Yeah,
Costello, girl.
that's
Calm
facts.
down.
We have a lot of great leaders of our past in history that they didn't know um, that certain things were going to happen or it was going to come to an early
There you go,
demise
baby. Thank you
by
so much
wanting.
for jumping in. Oh, I'm sorry. I was. Go ahead.
No, no, you good, you good.
No, I was just letting
No, I mean
Costello
I'm
know.
just
I
saying
appreciate
she.
it. Go ahead.
Yeah, Costello is correct though. Her
Oh yeah.
her second to last comment, yeah, she right about that. You know,
Yeah.
how many times do we wake up in the morning, oh, I'm finna attack someone that's bigger than myself, knowing I ain't got no
Mm,
support. You know,
yeah.
that goes to show you how serious you are. You know what I mean? Like it's bad enough you have a hard time saying no to soda, let alone put your life on the
Mm.
line to try to, you know what I'm
Oh,
saying,
did you read
fight a
that?
cause greater than you. Which one? The second one?
Trying to support, but people don't want to fight for themselves.
That's true. You only can help the willing.
If you want to share your thoughts on human trafficking, absolutely, because it's bigger than what you know. When you start the research, this shit is huge. And this system is well protected because guess it, it's a lot of money involved in
Yeah,
being able
but
to ship, you know, bodies to different countries to provide different services. 80% of them are escorts, especially the young girls. They're escorts. Mm,
I mean, what's crazy is male or female, like John said, you're coming from a poverty stricken neighborhood, family structure, whatever. If somebody offer you like, hey, look, check it out. 10 bodies a night, you get X amount of dollars plus room and board. You know what I'm saying?
mm.
mm,
All you got to do is bring me 10 bodies. We'll just say 10,000 a head. That's 100 grand right there. Who gonna pass that up?
Dre says that plague starts in the higher places that we can't reach.
Oh, facts. 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 You can't
Yes.
reach, you can't throw a stone, you
You can't even look
lifeline,
at
you
it.
ain't
You can't even.
man, look here,
Yes.
man.
Yes. Say it.
And like I
That's
said when we
it.
was talking backstage, you'll never meet the kingpin.
Mm.
Never.
You'll never get to the
Never.
quote unquote the start of it, quote
No.
unquote. Like you can't, but on a micro level, it's shit crazy.
A lot of
You
foot
see it
soldiers
all day
getting
long.
caught, right?
A lot of
Yeah.
foot soldiers, but not the ones who's actually
And
running
it's
it.
interesting because you can't even really give it a particular face. There's no specific type
No.
of right. It could be the white woman, it could be the black man, it could be a black woman, it could be a white boy.
Mm-hmm.
It could really be
Yeah.
Yeah.
anybody.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
What they say, location and opportunity.
And that's it. I've watched the video where a lady pulled up in her driveway, was getting ready to get out of the car. Car pulls up behind her. Guys jump out. She, immediately jumped back in the car and turned that car on and hit reverse. She could have been gone like that. Harvey Weinstein
Right.
taught us a lot, yet no change.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yes.
So yeah, and the again that last slither in all of this is how does it affect us at large? Is that one of the motivators for us not caring enough? We know that the
Because we don't
information
know
is
when they came up missing.
it's just
We
if
don't know.
you're presented with this information like we're having this talk and people been having these talks, other non-governmental organizations, they have these talks, certain like in the army, I know that human trafficking, they have to do like an annual they have to do an annual presentation, like they have to present that information to soldiers to look out for it. Certain organizations have to talk about this to increase awareness, right? But the average American, even though they know that the concept exists, how impacted are Americans with this problem? We feel more closely tied to homelessness than this.
It's
I'm
not
not
funny.
laughing because it's funny.
I know what I know. No,
I'm laughing because who on her has experience just driving down the street and you'll see a woman walking. Why she out here looking like that, flagging down cars.
Mm.
and you just keep going. You just keep going.
Ooh. Mm.
This is something that happens daily, and like John just said, accountability,
Mm.
accountability. This is a problem you see every day. It never it never enters your mind that that's somebody's child.
Yeah. Yeah.
But you go get them biscuits though. You hear me?
Ooh. All right, I got two comments here. Sam Jenkins, that's the homie right there. He says we feel more tied to our vote than this. Andre,
Woo!
mm, oof.
Woo!
That happened to
He's
my niece last year. She was trafficked by to Dubai by a friend. Monet, girl, call in when you get a chance. Cause I'm
What's the
just
other
now
one, John?
seeing your example.
Andre says it also feeds off of homelessness. This issue feeds off of homelessness. Those are
Yeah,
the ones that are not missed.
facts, hands down,
Vulnerable.
hands down. And I want to add to that. Okay, so I had just started with a company. I'm not gonna say their name. I just started with a company in Dallas, right? When I started with the company, I got off the Greyhound. As soon as I exit the Greyhound, you know what I'm saying, to my wondering eye, I'm like, why is there so many people out here like this? So many people. And police just drive by, going about their little way. And nobody saying nothing about nothing. You know what I'm saying? And then you even see, even within those particular communities, just right there, right? Just those little particular communities of families. I mean, families living on the street, homelessness, and you got kids that are with them, right? Got kids that
Mm.
are with them, and I'm thinking to myself, how did that happen to where two adults and a child is out here living on the streets? You understand what I'm saying? That's that. I mean, it hit me in my chest. But what hits me in my chest even more when I'm driving the trucks and I'm on I'm on these highways and byways, and you go through downtown cities and you see tent communities. I don't know if anybody ever heard of this.
Yep.
You literally have,
Hint
you have
communities.
Mm-hmm.
tent
Yeah.
communities,
Tense. Yep. Yep.
tent communities.
Yep.
And like your brother just said, ain't nobody looking at that
No.
because
Police
you're not
till they have to. True.
right. But even then, when they have to, what they write it off. Hey, we checked, we went by, we didn't
Uh,
see anything strange. Case closed.
right.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? But you could
Mm.
have just moved to a whole other corner for all they care. And then on top of that, you're not a taxpayer. So
Boom. That part right there. That
Oh
right
wow.
there. That value. If
Mm,
you don't work, you don't get to eat. If you don't work, I don't see why I have to pay for your living. I don't see why I have to feed you. You have
yeah,
to work. You have to contribute to society because I'm doing it. Therefore, you should
yeah,
be able to do it too.
yeah.
But not
Whether you
thinking at any time you can fall down. But
woo
because
real quick.
you don't
Mm,
think it can happen to you because
no.
you're so embedded into the system, you maneuver a certain way, you don't think you're ever going to be vulnerable. If you hit middle class, you think you can never be vulnerable to poverty because you built your way up there. And therefore, you should have the mindset to continuously get back up there and stay there. Not understanding that job loss can affect that middle class family, doesn't matter if it's the
mm,
man or the woman.
mm,
Right.
And suddenly
mm,
it's like, oh man, we're in a competitive environment. I can't get hired
mm,
anymore.
mm,
And then
mm.
divorce could do it to you, right? So boom, here you are, middle class. Suddenly you're in poverty, and a lot
Right.
of people don't understand. Like we see it out in social media where there's people like interviewing homeless people. We see it. I see it a lot. yo, how did you get here? How did you get in this position? You listen to those stories, and it's like, dang, you were talented. And you have this perception in the American consciousness that unless you work, unless you work, can't eat, right? But this is talent that could still contribute. Well, hey, if they're down there, they got programs that, oh, okay. Well, if it were that simple, then we wouldn't have a homelessness problem, would we? Well, that's because they're
Mm.
lazy. Some of those people have mental illnesses. Therapy is free too. In what country? We don't have free healthcare like that.
Right.
You don't
Right.
see
My
people
last time.
going in mass amounts to getting mental, like, I mean, you don't even always get it for free with your current employer. It's not always in your insurance
That's
plan, your health
interesting.
insurance
Yeah,
plan,
facts.
right? But
Facts.
still, what I'm just honing on here it's is that when you're in poverty, you're extremely vulnerable to this, right? And it's even the perception of homelessness because of the American attitude that we have towards it. That the only reason why you got there is because of your own merits. You should not be homeless. This is the land of opportunity. That whole thing. It's a meritocracy. That thing. Upward mobility is still possible. That thing. I got here. That thing. I got here. It's that thing. It's all these things, and it's part of the grand narrative. And yet, there's no troubleshooting. Hey, maybe we need to rethink this. But that's patriarchy, competition.
Facts.
If you're at the bottom of the
Facts.
food chain,
Yeah.
anything goes.
Survival of the
Costello.
fittest.
Costello. 17 people per 10,000 in the population is homeless.
And you got 7.5 billion. That's a big number. To piggyback off what John said, you also gotta think about, even when you look at it from a political standpoint, you got people that have reached certain plateaus and understood that, hey, I don't want to be a part of this system no more. Period. Period. You hear me? They would rather live on the streets than be a part of the system.
Mm,
To be
mm.
rather than paying taxes.
I've a guy did that. He
Yeah,
literally left and lives off grid. Like he ain't.
yeah. And the killer part was he was middle class. He was a six figure and chose to live on the streets. You know how serious that is? Because he said that everything that's on this God green earth is free. And he chose to live free throughout the rest of his days.
Mm.
Than to continue to pay taxes and vote for a system that has nothing to do with nothing. It's
I
all
like it.
money and greed.
Exchange security for freedom, because that's what
You hear me?
America offers. Yep, Sam Jenkins said the same thing. My homeboy Sam said the same thing. It's freedom.
Hey, sister.
Freedom to him. Yeah,
Freedom. I salute to that brother. Big time.
yeah.
Sister said, "Hey, y'all.
Oh, what's up, sis?
I don't know why my only my
Peace, peace.
YouTube is coming up. Oh, I meant to tell y'all we're currently live on Twitter as well.
Mm.
Awesome. That's love. That's love.
So yeah, we're currently live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter. We jumped into this because this is the heavy topic. Thanks for showing the love, sis. I appreciate it. Costello, if you want to call in,
Oh,
honey, the number is what is the number? Oh God, who has the
eight three
number?
two 318 6966.
Don't forget TikTok. Yes, we're gonna be live on TikTok next week too.
Okay.
All
Thank
right.
you,
Um,
Costello, for the acknowledgement.
yeah, currently going viral right now on TikTok because of a video I posted. Um, I think I'm like close to 25,000 views. So we're definitely gonna be going on TikTok live next week. I don't know how that's gonna work. We will
Yeah.
definitely figure it
Sam
out.
says salute to the panel. Love what y'all are doing.
Thank you,
Salute,
Sam.
bro. Salute, salute. Hey,
Thank
Sam,
you
call
for
in, man.
showing our love. I appreciate it. Costello, the number is 832-318-6966.
Miss Costello also said drugs are a underlining reason as well. Now, see,
Yes.
now you finna get off into some other stuff.
She say, what I miss? Hold on. Where
And the
you?
reason why I say you finna get off into some other stuff, we ain't even talking about. Well, I'm sorry. When you speak on drugs, there's two types of drugs. There's only two types. And forgive me for saying this. I hope we ain't censored by now. But you have, and John, correct me if I'm wrong. You have illegal drugs
Mm.
Mm.
and legal drugs. Them the only two drugs in America.
And the legal drugs.
Be careful. Be careful. Please be careful.
I'm done.
Because you got a license. Please be careful.
I'm done.
If
I'm
you ain't gonna
done.
put facts with it, please be careful.
I'm done.
I'm I'm
I,
I'm, I'm dead serious.
no, I'm done. I'm a us nurses joke at work that
Mhm.
we are
Okay.
certified.
I'm just saying. Look at it like this.
I got you. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna say it.
I'm gonna give an example. At one point, tobacco was
Hey
illegal, right?
Costello, how you doing? Wait a minute. Hold on. Go ahead.
At one point, it was illegal.
At one
Now it's
point,
legal. Yeah.
yes.
Now it's legal. Now it's so legal that they say, "Hey, it's a
He says
possibility
I missed
you
the call.
partaking in this, it could kill you."
We are legal drug dealers. I'm
Mm.
reading the comment that my sister wrote.
Yeah. Comment. That's a comment. That's a comment.
Legal drug dealers. Yeah.
We are legal drug dealers. Yes. Yes, we are. Costello
Man,
called back. I don't know what happened. It just kind of like dropped.
at one point, alcohol was illegal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You know,
Three of the deadliest drugs in America. Right.
Or what? Drugs, tobacco,
There's
and alcohol
alcohol. Yep. Tobacco, and actually, it's opioids.
opioids,
Mm-hmm.
that you get from a
poppy
doctor's
seeds,
prescription.
poppy seeds.
What? What is it? You cellular?
What they say if you
Yeah,
take
that's going on.
three Tylenol threes would be your last motherfucking headache.
Mm.
You know what? Missed call. I'm just here. Call my regular phone. You family. 89. Hold on. 8954. Oh, 54. I'm sorry. 54. I'm giving out the wrong number.
Yeah,
Dang.
don't give
What
out no
happened?
numbers because we
Yeah,
live. What are you doing?
no, that's on the phone. I'm giving. No, I
You
know
giving out
Costello.
your number?
I'm giving out my number to Costello.
Yeah, but
That's
we live right now. That's my point.
my.
Yeah, that's what come on, Queen. Come on, sis.
Did I just give out my whole number?
Uh,
I'm gonna be having people call me. Did I say the whole number 8325?
why you gonna repeat it?
I gotta call Verizon in the morning and get my number jack. I,
You get any
I
more
hate
comments,
myself.
John?
I was
No
thinking
more
out
comments.
loud.
No more comments. None of those brothers want to call in.
Oh,
Nah.
I'm not sure. Well, we had a minute and 29. I did want
Preferably,
to
that is a hour and
an
29, not a
hour.
minute
I'm
29.
sorry, an hour and 29. I'm sorry, because I'm nervous about this next piece. Um, I'm working on a little project. A friend called me a couple of months ago, and since it kind of ties in with human trafficking, and she wanted us to tell our story. Um, we are collecting stories from women and men who have been sexually abused,
Hmm.
to put in a book to publish, to bring awareness. I've already wrote my stories. Um, John already edited for me. He did this a couple months ago. I touched base with her last month. She was fighting COVID. Um, and I told her, I said, I'm going to put it out there now. I made up an email address. You can remain as anonymous as you like. Um, you do not have to share your name. What we would like for you to do is to share your story. And at the end of your story, give a piece of advice on what you would tell a parent on what they can do to keep their child safe. My piece of advice was be careful who you have your children around. A lot of the people that are being sexually abused is coming from people that they know, that they
Hmm.
trust, um, and that they're being taken advantage of. So, um, oh God, I'm gonna post my email. This won't be this, and you don't have to use your name. And if you know someone that wants to share their story, because it can be very therapeutic, just writing it all out. Um, did your child get abused? It's Costello. Costello, girl, you won't have to call me. Oh, okay.
I want
Go ahead.
to add on here. I know we come to a close. I want to add on here. I think we should
Yeah.
take a day, take a day to see how we can pull together multiple resources in different states which we reside in, on top of
Mm.
1-800 numbers that we can give out.
Ooh. Yes.
uh, because
Yes.
even though, not even though, as we're talking about this, I'm pretty sure there's somebody would like to know, are there any outlets or
Yeah.
resources which they can tune into or even call upon, um, just for help or cry out. You know what I'm saying? So it's very therapeutic that we're able to talk about these subjects. And I appreciate the platform and being a guest and a host at the same time. But things like this, I still think we should give useful information and tools and resources to the masses for those that don't know or have no direction in which to look towards for help. And
Oh.
like that brother said earlier, I can't think his name, but to know that you work with these young boys that actually go through things like this in the foster care system that's you know that's heavy, man.
Hmm.
You're already removed from what's supposed to be your natural ecosystem. What I'm saying, as far as your family, then you go to a
Hey.
sub family, and
I could not
you
get
still see abuse.
I'm sorry to cut you off. This is Costello. She's been trying to call in for the last 5 minutes.
Oh yeah. So my last.
Yes, you are on live, honey.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. Whoever on live, welcome in. Everybody have got ears. But I just want to say this. I appreciate. One second. I got my little baby nephew up here. But I really appreciate what y'all doing right now, because y'all really hitting home on some good topics that people that's what y'all say. Like, we don't talk about, honey, y'all hitting home. And King, stop looking cute. But anyway, my whole point is this. I like what y'all doing here, and I like that y'all bring it to the forefront, okay?
Yeah.
And I like that it's different perspectives, okay? Oh my gosh. But I would like, be quiet, baby nephew. But I would like, if possible, that we can sit here and discuss this whole black people and the biracial people, because you made a statement saying that it's all the same. I personally do not. I don't agree with you on that. Okay.
Okay. Who made the statement?
I was like this. I was like, okay, so apparently I was like, black people is one thing, and then I was like, okay, well, the biracials are saying like, hey, they're black, or like they're classifying the biracials as black people. That's not actually a thing. Or you agree with that, right? So you said if you got a white mother and a black father, that you are black.
That's how the system looks at them.
Talk about the system, because we like on your show, on your show, it ain't about the system.
Okay.
I'm talking about like how your point of view is on it.
Oh, okay. POV. Okay. Yeah.
In the future, got to touch on that. And
What she say? We can't hear her.
I already made it clear that I feel like if you're biracial, you're black. And the reason being is because our genes are more dominant. Our genes,
yes,
our genes are dominant. They really are.
but
So
it's one thing for us to, it's one thing for them to legalize, if that is the case. It's one thing for how they look at things and how they view things. You know what I'm trying to say? There's a lot of biracial people out here right now that are not really taking a part of the black community. They are actually doing different things. They're taking advantage of the system. And I don't know that. My whole point is, I'm here with nephew. But if y'all can talk about that in the future, then make it cute.
okay.
That's a good one. That is a good one.
That's peace.
That is a good
peace.
one. King.
What she?
Hey, that was a some smooth fangirling going on there.
Wow. Peace to the Queen Costello for chiming in.
Man.
So I guess we got to put that down on the list, huh?
Mhm.
Yeah. As a matter of fact, we can do April 10th.
Okay.
That's
Because we
fine.
already got everything all the way up until then. So yeah.
Mhm.
We could put down what black people and biracial people.
Yeah.
You know, something
Or we
along
just
those
hit
those lines.
yeah. I was gonna say we just hit the spectrum period.
Yeah.
Oh, my point of view on this. Okay, guys. Never mind.
Okay. Just wait until the
Save
just wait
it. Save
until the
it.
show.
Yeah.
Save it and wait till the show, and then we'll go from there. We've been going. I say, man, I'm tired. I said a minute and 38, but we've been going for an hour and 38. Look, somebody gonna read this, look back and read this, watch this, and be like, what is she on? Is she on drugs? No. Anyway, I want to thank you.
That's my personality. But my whole point is to make it, bro. Listen, y'all wild out here, and I like that point of view. So,
Renee, I'll be on there. I'll be in on Fatty Girl. Fatty Girl says she's going to get in on she's biracial. Her mother is white and her father is black. So you better call, honey. And thank you, Costello, for calling in. We've been going for an hour and 39 minutes. Have we ever went this long?
Close enough, but that's not something to be, proud of. Okay, because we don't want them to be like, Well, man, all right, man. I'm only gonna watch 30 minutes, and I'm gonna call. We don't want that. We don't want that.
Yeah. Short attention
But
span.
yeah,
Short
yeah.
attention span.
We gotta remember that. Short attention.
Okay.
Yeah. Andre says, just want y'all to know, I love what you kings and queen are doing. You really touch on some sensitive topics.
That
And
is the
his name
name
was
on the
what? What
show.
was his name again?
Oh, that's Dre. That's Dre.
That's Dre.
Oh, that's
Oh, peace,
great.
Dre.
Yeah.
Peace, Dre.
Alexa,
Yeah.
play music by John
And
Skywalker.
these are very, very sensitive topics. I wanna add that we said this before off camera.
Mm-hmm.
John alluded to it, and sis, you pointed out like the chemistry of it. The way we are gelling and flowing is is
Yeah,
uncanny, like for real. It's uncanny,
it is.
and I love how from a point of view perspective, we each are adding a professional understanding, you know,
Mhm.
and that's that's beautiful, you know.
It is.
My bad. I'm sorry. I ain't trying to be sentimental. I'm
No,
just
no,
saying,
it's okay because we had this conversation Friday during our little conference call, and I'm happy the way things are going, and we all bring something different to the table. We really do, and I love that. I'm gonna be the off the wall funny one. I ain't gonna.
and sidebar, sidebar for each and every individual that has chimed in, called in, commented,
Yes,
and even watched in silence. Please do us a
yeah,
huge favor. Like, share, and subscribe.
Mhm.
Please.
oh yeah,
To each one of our platforms, but more so to like, share, comment, subscribe. Please, please, please. It
oh
will
Yeah, just
help
yeah.
us
share it
to
to three
actually,
people.
Share the
yeah,
yeah.
that right there.
Share it to three
So
people.
y'all killing it for sure. Thank you. We did really good with our numbers last week. I was very excited. Like we was up in the hundreds within
Mhm.
24 hours. So I'm like, whoa, that's good. So please like, subscribe, and share to your friends, to everybody. We are currently live again on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. Next week, we're definitely going to try to go ahead and add TikTok. I was able to get 1,000 people so I can go live. Right now, I have a video on there that's literally going viral.
Mhm.
Literally. I think it's like at 25,000.
Mhm.
Let me go check the numbers. Yeah, 25.5. So yeah. Y'all want to add anything before we sign off?
I got nothing.
You got nothing? Oh, I'm sorry. 26.5.
Mhm.
Dude, I'm going viral. You got to check out my
Backstage,
video.
backstage, backstage.
Oh, backstage. All right. Thank you, everyone, for coming in. So proud of y'all. Thank you, everyone, for coming in and jumping in on this live. Thank you to everyone who called and commented. We really appreciate it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to all of our social media. The boy in the background, my boy John, please download and stream all of his music. They are available on all streaming platforms. John Skywalker. Tell them, oh, and our next topic next week, we're going to be talking about plastic surgery, these BBLs. Oh,
Uh-oh.
Hey, whoa, hello, time out.
these bad BBLs. So, yeah. All right, y'all. See y'all next week.